This is the world's easiest business to make a lot of money at. They don't understand that we're just in the contact business. More contacts, better you're going to do.
You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You actually have to get to the point that when you start to become comfortable, you actually become uncomfortable because you realize you're not pushing yourself through things.
Walking away from that one, taking that one would have cost me probably 5 or 10 listings down the road. Walking away from it, I feel great. I don't need it. I wanted it. It was a pretty good price point, but it's not something I need.
Hello, Robert. How are you?
Hello there. How you doing?
Good. So my name is Dave Thompson. This is Robert Mitchell. And Robert Mitchell, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You're awesome. You know that, right?
Oh, well, I need people like you telling me that. So I appreciate hearing that. Thank you.
Excellent. So the audience just get a feel for who you are. Where did you grow up? Let's just start there.
I grew up in Southern California, and my parents got divorced when I was 8. So we moved around a little bit. Ended up coming here to Fresno, California. God, hate to give away my age, but about 43, 44 years ago. And with that being said, I grew up with my mom.
You. Okay.
But before that, I grew up in a household where my parents were constantly remodeling houses. So all I ever knew was either going to open houses, looking at houses, or living in half-done houses. So
Interesting. So do they flip houses? Is that what you grew up with? Then buying a house, fixing it up and selling it type of thing?
I guess you could call that, but we were actually living in the homes. I mean, my dad was a judge. My mom was a prosecutor down south. It wasn't as if this was like their bread and butter. It was more like a kind of a hobby, I guess. Even though if you were to talk to my mom today, she would say it was horrible because we always lived in half-done houses. It was always under construction.
Oh, okay. What'd you do before real estate?
So when I was 18, just turned 19, I bought my first house. And I was working construction.
You bought your first house when you were 18?
Turned 19 July 10th. I think in August I closed on my first house for $54,000.
Okay.
I bought it and told my family, and they came to visit me and were ready to take me to a loony bin. It was so bad, and my agent was so bad that I got a call halfway through escrow saying, "Hey, I just heard the swamp cooler is leaking into the attic. You better get over there and save the house." And yours truly had to go over and, well, by the time I got there, the swamp cooler had burst, or the ceiling burst, flooded the house. I had to clean up the house because they had all original hardwood floors. It was built in 1934. So.
Is that right? So you bought your first house when you were 19 years old. What did you do before real estate then?
So bought the first house, and my goal was going to buy real estate every year.
Okay.
And so I was 19, so 20, saved some money up. 21, I was in escrow on a 5-plex and not knowing what I was doing. And my neighbor who sold businesses took me to lunch. One thing turned into another. I ended up buying a restaurant. So for 5 years of my life, I went in the restaurant business, and then the IRS met up with me, and I lost my ass and had to rebuild again, and became a day trader. Made a ton of money, and well, the market crashed, so I lost my butt again. And next thing I know is I was like, well, I know construction, so maybe I'll buy flips. 2 of my neighbors lived directly across the street from me. We're both realtors from 2 different companies. And I had them looking for flips for me, and they were so bad that, and I should have known when their car is parked in their driveway all day, every day, that should have been my sign. And they weren't working out of their houses, by the way. They had offices. And so I got my real estate license, not to sell real estate. I got my real estate license so I could actually go and find flips. Right. And next thing, a good friend of mine calls and says, "Hey, I need to sell my house." It's like, I don't know the first thing about selling real estate besides my own. I guess I could do this. And next thing I know is I was rookie of the year for my brokerage. Accidentally. I just knew how to work. So.
And what year was that?
That was 2001. 9/11 was my orientation. Me and 3 other people that showed up not knowing if we were supposed to show up or not, which apparently we weren't. And we never really had an orientation from there. It was kind of funny. They just literally just said, "Hey, you're licensed, you're ready to go. Just show up and grab a desk."
Sure. How many houses did you sell in your first year?
I think it was 16.
16.
So
yeah.
Excellent.
It's
been a while.
Yeah. And fast
It was funny
forward,
because my
yeah,
mentor showed up 3 days before I was closing my first deal. I had never met him before, and he handed me the referral slip and said, "Hey, I need you to sign this. I'm taking, I think it was 45% or something of your commission." I said, "Over my dead body, just principal alone. I'm not doing that." So then that year I sold more than he did.
is that right? More than the mentor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Fast forward to where we are today.
Yes.
So, how many houses do you think you listed in the last 90 days?
We were trying to get a number on that. It's been kind of chaotic. We have not been doing a really good job about the numbers.
So, it's more than
We're coming
one
up,
because you would
it was
remember that, right?
about 38.
About 38. Okay,
Yeah.
about 38, almost 40, right?
Well, it
Yeah.
may be 40 because I've got 3 listing appointments today alone. Just got off of one. I got 2 more tonight.
So, a lot of people that are listening probably are like, how do you list 40 houses in 90 days? That's 15 to 20 houses a month, right?
This is the world's easiest business to make a lot of money at. And I see that when I drive by, we're 105 today. And there are guys out there that are doing asphalt right now. And I drive by and I feel like, my God, here's my card. Come join me in real estate because, you know, we sit in this air conditioned office. And the biggest problem most people have is just picking up this, just pick it up and have a conversation. And I think that's where people go wrong. They don't understand that we're just in the contact business. More contacts, better you're going to do.
Contacts equal
So,
contracts. That,
bingo.
that's simple, right?
Yeah.
Break that down. So, like right now, to get 40 listings, how many contacts are you doing to get 38, 40 listings?
My $1 million GCI goal is 34 contacts a day, 5 days a week.
Okay.
My realistic goal lately has been just nail 20,
Hmm.
just get 20. Now, what I just like I told the team this morning, we had a team meeting this morning. I said, listen, my new philosophy is, instead of the numbers on the contacts, just get an appointment a day, no matter what. And as a matter of fact, I think my second client I ever had was the waitress at a Denny's. I had breakfast one morning. She and I started chit chatting. Next thing I know is I sold her house. So, and that's the beauty of this business. My honeymoon was in Africa. And when we were leaving, I brought a bunch of business cards. I told my wife, I said, I got to get some of these business cards passed out. She said, you're nuts. I literally stood there at the bus that was going to the airport, shuttling all these Americans to the airport, passing my business card out. My wife is horrified. I mean, to the point where she got on the bus and, didn't want to be related to me. And we got back, I think it was like a Sunday night, Thursday or Friday. It wasn't more than 5 days later. I got a call from somebody saying, hey, I'm moving to Clovis. Now, Clovis is right next to Fresno. I live in Clovis. She says, I'm divorcing my, what, husband, da 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 da, da, and I need to buy a house. And I need to buy it now. She came in town that weekend and bought a house for me. The moral of the story is this is the most amazing business because everywhere you go, I don't care if you're going to a sporting event, I don't care if you're going to your kids' theatrical, whatever it may be, as long as you're getting yourself out there and talking to people and having a conversation, which, that's what I love anyway. I love people.
Mhm.
So for me, it comes naturally. For some, I know this is a struggle.
When I first started in the business, somebody told me to pass out 10 business cards every single day, no matter what, right? So I was busy in my schedule. So sometimes it was 10 o'clock at night, Robert. When I pass out my business card, I'd actually pull into a gas station and just literally pass out my business card and ask somebody if they're buying and selling. But when you think about that activity every day, 10 times 5, and of course I did 60 a week, but 10 times 5 is 50. 50 times 50 is 2,500. And if you're going to pass out 2,500, it's about every 60 contacts we get a transaction, and that comes to 42 transactions. And I'll tell you, after the first 3 months, I was selling over 40 houses a year specifically from passing out business cards, right? Because contacts equal contracts.
There you go. And that's what people forget.
Why do you think that most real estate agents don't understand that? Because the average production out there is what is about 4 transactions a year. Right. And you just
Right.
said this is the easiest job in the world to make money. You made a great point. There's people in 105-degree working on asphalt, right? And all we have to do is just have conversations with people so we can find out who we can help. Why is it that a real estate agent doesn't do that typically?
I think it comes down to a couple things. First one is competence. I pay a lot of money to be able to talk to you at least once a week.
Mhm. Oh,
I'm
by
on
the way,
the,
I'm Robert's coach.
yes, you were definitely my one and only, I'll tell you. Best coach I've ever had. I've been in coaching for a while and I've tried everybody. So every
Mhm.
year I usually mix it up and change it because I need to get a new take on things. But yeah, you've brought my mindset, which let's face it, it starts with your mindset.
Mhm.
And because you could be the most wonderful salesperson on the planet, if you don't have the mindset to go with it, you're not going to sell anything.
100%.
So I think it takes competence. You got to know what you're selling, know how to sell it, and be aware. Because I told the team how many hours I put in just this weekend alone, and they were shocked. I mean, I put in more hours just in the last 3 days than most agents put in probably in 2 or 3 weeks. So I was on a mission to get something done, which I'll share with you on Thursday when we talk, because you're pushing me into something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I just haven't done it. So it comes down to competence. Number one, know what you're talking about. And number two, once you know what you're talking about, you get the confidence to be able to do it. And they can sense that like a dog does.
Mhm.
If you come in with your tail between your, like the lady I just met with for the listing I just picked up, there was no way she was going to talk to anybody that didn't know what they were talking about or doing. This is a gal that sold dozens of homes. She knows what she's doing. And she said she could do it in her sleep. She just wants to have a professional take it to that next level. And lastly, my word is my bond. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm sure
Mhm.
as hell going to do it. So it's going to get done.
I had a conversation with probably about 20 people the other day, and I just asked everybody, I said, who's full time in real estate? And of course, everybody raised their hand, right? Then I asked this, and you'll find this is really interesting. I asked the question, who works 40 hours a week? And not as many people had their hand raised. Dawned on me, probably for the first time ever, the definition of full time in real estate means I don't have another job. It's not that I work full time in real estate.
Exactly.
So, when somebody gets their license, this is what kind of gets me a little bit because I think everybody, Robert, is motivated when they get their license. I mean, getting your license is not an easy thing to do, right? And going through all the classes, then you have to, I mean, you got to take the class, you got to pass the test, you go do the board things that you have to do, right? I think everybody is motivated and excited when they take the test and they pass it, right? But 18 months later, 82% of the real estate agents have failed. So I don't think it's a lack of motivation. I think it's a lack that no one has shared with them what to do, or they got involved in this business thinking it was something that it isn't because it's sales, right?
Thank you, HGTV.
Exactly. Yeah. So people think that's what it is. I always say it's not sexy getting rich, it's just sexy being rich, right?
Yeah.
If they showed what we did every single day to get there, right? You
Nobody
wouldn't
would
put
do
a
it.
TV camera on that, would you? Right?
No, I was just told this, must be like Thursday or Friday. I'm showing houses and she says, I should become a realtor. I love looking at houses.
Right?
I
There you
said,
go.
you would love the 2% of what we do then.
Oh,
And she just looked at me. I said, realistically, yeah, it's probably about 5% of what we do. We show houses and look at houses and everything else. But the behind the scenes, I remember my dad would ask me, what are you doing in the office at 11:30 at night? No one's calling you. I said, you're right, but I'm getting ready for that next call.
there you go. Yeah.
He couldn't grasp what I was really doing because in my world, you should always be busy. You're either busy handling business or you're busy getting more business. And I've been very fortunate that I've got the mindset that I've been broke and I've been pretty well off. And I sure as hell don't want to be broke ever again in my life, especially with a 6-year-old at home. That's not going to happen ever again. I got to, number one, show her how it's done. Number two, I got to be able to write that check in case something comes up. And I never want to put myself in that position. So I have that mindset and always have where I need to be able to push myself every morning. And I think that's the problem with real estate. Because, yeah, brokers will sign anybody with a pulse and a real estate license. But what the problem is, nobody's giving you that roadmap. They're giving the roadmap. All right, here's what you do. I used to have a good friend of mine that was killing it. But the problem is she was killing it. And finally, she got to a point where she was like walking in the office at 11:30 in the morning, 12 p.m. Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sleeping in, enjoying life. Well, a year and a half later, I watched her and I personally witnessed this, having her brand new Cadillac being repoed on the brokerage parking lot. And talk about a reality check. I mean, that put her back into real estate again. But I think that's the other problem where we've got these highs and these lows, and you hit these highs and you get comfortable. And the problem is complacency is a dream killer. So
Yeah, well, somebody once actually told me this. I think her name was Joan Pate back in the day. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You actually have to get to the point that when you start to become comfortable, you actually become uncomfortable because you realize you're not pushing yourself through things. Because you think about anything that day, you're going to skydive, you're going to be uncomfortable, right?
Yep.
Anything that you're going to do that is worthwhile has a degree of uncomfortability. Is that a right word? If not, we're going to use it, right?
Sounds good to me.
Uncomfortability to it, right? So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but you have to be uncomfortable being comfortable because then you're
Absolutely true.
always pushing it, right? Yeah,
Hey, let's face it, being poor is very uncomfortable.
without a question. But
Being wealthy, I'm far from wealthy. I'm far from where I want to be in life. But that's my goal. I need to hit that. And I'm not sure I'll ever be comfortable, which I don't think I want to ever be. I need that push every morning when I wake up.
yeah, so when we're listening to some of the things you're saying, you work all the time, work hard, right? But you are this year taking some time off and rewarding yourself for work. You see the smile on Robert's face because we're going to set a goal, take some time off, enjoy, right? And then come back.
You
You
got me on
actually
the
have
6 week plan,
every 6 weeks do something, right?
which is funny because the 6 week plan is right now. And my wife and my daughter are both in Texas having a great time without me. I've been on a nice run and I can't,
Yes.
as I explained to her, I said I'd be more uncomfortable leaving right now than I would be enjoying that vacation right now.
Yeah.
So she's with a bunch of other people. They're having a great time. I'm getting the videos and the pictures to prove it.
But you're providing that. That's awesome.
That's the beauty of it all. I'm able to provide that to them.
Yeah. 38 listings. Let's go back to that. So 38 listings. How many listing appointments? What's your closing ratio on a listing appointment?
I'm in the upper 90s. Definitely happens. I was sharing something this morning with the team. I didn't take one over the weekend because I didn't like her. I mean, I
Mhm.
just flat out, this, we're not going to work together. And I don't want to jeopardize my mindset right now. My mindset is so way up here right now that walking away from that one, taking that one would have cost me probably 5 or 10 listings down the road. Walking away from it, I feel great. I don't need it. I wanted it. It was a pretty good price point, but it's not something I need. At the end of the day, I'm very, very conscious, especially nowadays, of my mindset, of my circle. As a matter of fact, with your help, you had me make some changes to my team, some pretty drastic changes pretty quickly. It's been nothing but great. Now I've got a team of warriors, and now we're going to build. Now I've got that base. So,
And with that,
but
you look forward to coming into the office every day because you have the right people you're
absolutely,
surrounding you, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
If you prospect, you don't have to put up with. So when you think about it, and anybody that's listening to this, if you ever taken a listing or you're working with a buyer that you didn't know how to work with, right? Change the scenario in your head for a second. Let's say you had $500,000 sitting in the bank account, extra money. You had 10 listings, you had 10 pendings, and you had 10 more appointments coming up that were already set with great people. Would you have made a different decision? 100% you would. So if you prospect, you don't have to put up with, right? When it's your only deal, you put up with anything, right?
Yep,
So when you're getting 38 listings, give or take, right? And you're listing at 90%, where are you getting the listings from?
everywhere.
Everywhere.
So, yeah, back to the business card
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
I'm very big on getting my team to pass out at least 3 a day. 10 would be a feat. So I
Yeah.
commend you on that one. But not to mention the fact I'm having conversations. So I had an event at the house a while back and just had conversations with people because I told everybody, bring a guest, bring somebody. But sure enough, we had a guest. I went over to introduce myself, had a nice conversation. They're moaning about their agent. And next thing I know is I'm being called in. That was on Saturday. By Monday, I'm getting the phone call. I don't want to step on toes,
Yeah.
but that's just a great example. I came from contribution. I gave some value, gave them some ideas on, hey, maybe you should let your agent know they should probably be doing this, and this. Shared it with them. And next thing I know is they're firing their agent, hiring me.
That's one. You don't have 38 parties in 98 days, do you?
No, not yet. Okay. So the other ones,
Conversations, right? But where are the other conversations?
they're coming from everywhere. Expireds. Just
Okay.
picked up a fantastic expired a couple days ago. They're coming in through the database. They're coming in. We've got some landing pages for house values. And again, it's not the close. I'm not closing these people. I'm calling up saying, hey, David, I see that you inquired regarding your house and went through the main street. want an idea what it might sell for, might be worth in this crazy market. Just have about, 3 or 4 questions for you before I put this report together for you. By the time I get done with it, they're literally some of, half the time, 50% of the time, they're asking if I can come out and give them a firmer or a more detailed price on what it might sell for. And then the rest just kind of happens.
That was really good. So you're adding value, something that you're doing for them, and you're setting them up to want more of what you have. And
I'm
they
not being
invite you
that
out.
creepy, sleazy salesperson.
Yeah, provide the value and then slowly work your way in.
I've got a for sale by owner right now that I single-handedly set up with painters, escrow, electrician. I think there was something else that I helped him out with. It's on the market right now as a for sale by owner. It's on Zillow, and they're having an open house this next Saturday. Damn well better believe I'm stopping by.
Mhm.
And I just came from contribution, and hopefully it'll all work out. But in the meantime, I'm moving out of state, so I can't help him with the purchase. But with that being said, I put that good energy out there, and I'm very, very big on the energy that we produce and the energy we put out in the society. So, especially right now.
Well, if you have 38 people that you're listing over a period of time, you're having a lot more conversations. You're adding more value to a lot of different people. How do you keep track of that? How do you keep
I've got,
track of, like, I got this expired over here, this for sale by owner over here, I got this person I'm meeting at all my parties I'm throwing? Uh, how do you keep track of
I've got,
that?
I've got a pretty good CRM.
Okay. What do you
I say
use?
pretty good because it's got some holes in it. We're working on right now.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we're probably making a switch, but old school.
Okay.
Behind me, I've got it kind of hidden in the corner over here, but
I
I
see
have
it.
my manila folders.
Oh,
I,
folders. Okay. Yeah.
I've got manila folders with a buyer questionnaire on the front. I mean, here's the questionnaire. And I teach my team the same thing. And the youngins they think I'm nuts. Why would you have anything in writing? What are you thinking? But it's all for the display. It's all for the show because when I'm walking through the house and I've got my buyer questionnaire on the manila folder and I'm taking notes and I'm writing, hey, you told me you wanted a 4 bedroom, 2 bath, and now you're telling me you want a 2 bedroom. That's cool too. And I'm asking those questions, but I'm writing it all down. And so they appreciate the fact that somebody's actually listening to them.
Yeah. Excellent.
And I don't make any mistakes that way. And I have a better idea what I'm looking for, especially with the off market. And that's the other thing. I mean, unfortunately, most agents are lazy. And I
Mhm.
think the computers and all the technology, I mean, Christ, the AI now, agents are single-handedly relying on the AI to sell everything for them. But at the end of the day, I mean, we've got to do our jobs. So it's not about just finding stuff online. It's about going out and hunting it. As a matter of fact, one of my emails is FresnoHouseHunter.com, or that's one of my websites because that's the way I used to look at it. I'm on a hunt.
Yeah, and that's so awesome too, because typically for most real estate agents, they're overpaid door openers. And what I mean by that is because an individual sees it on Zillow, they call their agent and say, "Can you go open up the door?"
Yep.
Our job is to find them a house, not just to provide them just on market listings in the MLS and Zillow. If we
Yeah.
just do that, how do we have a value that's different from somebody else, right? How do you justify the income that you're making? How do you get people into houses when we have the interest rates drop and it becomes very competitive again, right? The markets change all the time.
Yep.
So tell me about your team. So you had a team, you kind of moved the team around, and now you're
Well,
kind
I
of
moved
starting
around, right?
over it, and you're starting over. Now, before we talk about your team, and by the way, when you said 38 listings, we're not talking about your team listings. We're talking about you did those 38 listings and you have a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me where you're going before we figure out where you're at.
Okay. So we're down to 3 agents plus myself.
Uh-huh.
My wife is on the team, but she's our executive assistant for now.
Yep.
We have a virtual transaction coordinator, which is fantastic.
Hmm.
She's local, but she works out of her own office. So we call her a virtual TC,
Yep.
which is nice because I pay her by the file. So I don't have to pay, I'm saving the money on paying the taxes and everything. So it's perfect. By year's end, we're going to have 10 on the team. As a matter of fact, that's what I was working on all weekend. I revamped everything. I'm very systematized. Everything I do is checklist. We role play every morning. Everything we do is very systematic. And so I redid everything in preparation for 10 this year. And then we're definitely going to do another 10 next year. So by the end of 26, we're going to have 20 agents minimum on the team.
And all your agents will be producing at least how many transactions?
At least 10 to be on the team.
And then the average production is going to be what?
14.
About 14 transactions. So 20 people on the team, that would be 280 transactions, right?
Exactly.
So almost 300 transactions.
Which is unheard of for my area. 200 is the absolute tops for anybody in this town.
Mhm.
And that's a team of 20.
Yeah. Which is when you said that, it's actually, we don't want to compare ourselves to that because it puts us in a comfort situation, right?
Every time I talk to you, it's a new mindset.
So it doesn't matter what other people do, right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Well, it
Yeah.
does, but it matters the right people that
Hmm.
you're trying to follow.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, so my best year was 2017, 18, somewhere right around there. My wife was pregnant, and she and I did 114 transactions together. That's it. No TCs, no assistants, no nothing. We were working night and day. Money was great. The time was not. Thank I got to work with my wife. Otherwise, I never would have seen her for a year. And when she was getting ready to have the baby, that's when we realized, God, we got to do something. That's where the team concept came up. It was more out of necessity than desire or want.
Mhm.
It was a mind opener because the year before I was plugging along at 65, 70, maybe. I was lucky enough to be dragged to an event, literally dragged because I didn't want to go. Somebody paid all expenses because they were trying to recruit me to another brokerage. And I went to a mastermind where everybody was selling no less than 1,000 homes. I didn't know that existed. Little old Fresno, I mean, our biggest hitter was selling 120 homes, and that was a big team here. I'd go to this event, and I'm like, my God, this exists. The very next year, I did 114 transactions. So
Yeah.
anybody who says this whole mindset thing is BS, they can talk to me because I'll tell you right now, I don't know what the percentage is, but my business went up, what, 35, 40% just by going to an event to open my eyes up.
Share my experience. It was 1992, I think. I was doing 36 transactions. Went to a Mike Ferry seminar, seen somebody doing over 300. I went to 117 the next year, and the next year I went to over 300. But just did it because I went to an event, I seen somebody else doing it, and the mind, because our mind will never allow us to do things we can't believe it will do, right?
Bingo.
We have to believe that we're that person, right? So I just put myself in that seat. I can be that person, and I just did it. You
Yep.
did, right? The exposure, right? Yeah,
You are your five
yeah.
surrounding friends, surrounding people.
And so, what's my nickname for you? $1 million man?
Yeah, Vic called me the $2 million man. For the first time in my career, I truly believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah. So, give us some advice for somebody that is a new agent. 3 pieces of advice. And then I'm going to ask you the same thing for somebody that's building a team because you had a team, you tore it down. Now you're building it the right way, right?
Correct.
So the first thing, brand new agent or somebody that's doing 5 or 6 transactions a year. Let's just go there.
I'm smiling because I had an ex-girlfriend of mine call me recently. Say, hey, I'm getting into the real estate business. What piece of advice can you give me? I said, number one, if you're not ready to run it like a business, get out now, right now. So what do you mean? I said, if you're not ready to be at work by 8 a.m. and not quit until 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, don't do it. Because at the end of the day, I can tell you how much you're going to make just by looking at your calendar, your daily planner. So I would say number one, get a coach. Get somebody like yourself who knows what you're doing and not going to hold back. Really be a coach. Because everybody's calling themselves a coach nowadays. Get somebody who actually knows what the hell they're doing. Number two, run it like a business. Not this BS where I'm going to go to the gym at 10 or 11 in the morning, have lunch, and then pop by the office. No, I'm up at 5. It doesn't matter if I'm competing with my sales manager. I'm up at about 4:30. I'm working out by 5. And, I've already started my day before most people have even gotten up. And I think lastly, if you're not growing, you're dying. So every day I'm trying to learn something. I don't care what it is. As a matter of fact, I've got the master class. I watch it at home every morning. So after I work out, have some breakfast, do my thing. Daughter gets up, make her breakfast, say hi to the wife, and then I'm out the door. But I'm always trying to learn. And then I get in my car. I've got a book on tape. I got one of the books that you told me about. I think I'm listening for like the third or fourth time, and that's just in the last few days. So 'cause I started on Thursday, but I'm always growing. I'm always because to me, I don't want to be complacent. I want to leave my mark. And the last 15, 30 minutes of your day or 30 minutes of your life just now, you're not going to get that back. So you damn well better use every second of every minute of every hour of every day you get and do something really, really good at it. Really good. And I'm not saying just be a workaholic because that's not what life is all about. But just like you've trained me to do, look ahead 6 weeks, kill it right now so I can go and enjoy myself in 6 weeks and go somewhere and not worry about looking at the check.
Great advice. And by the way, you dated yourself. You said book on tape. There used to be
I don't
books
know.
on tapes.
I get reminded of that all the time over here.
I actually had books on the 8-track one time.
I came
Uh,
across a bunch of my whole Mike Ferry cassettes the other day. I was
yes.
like, who can I give these to? I can't give them to anybody because nobody has a cassette anymore.
Nobody has a
Some
cassette
of these
player.
guys actually look at me and laugh, say, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah. Love it. All right. So for team,
I think the biggest thing for the team is you got to have the right people in your circle. And I hate to say it, I lost my dad a few years ago, and it was kind of sad, but it kind of woke me up to something. A few months before he passed away, he said, "You become so hard." I said, "What do you mean by that?" I said, you used to be so gentle and sweet and kind and everything else," because I was. That is my true nature. But the driver in me, especially running the team, has really come out tenfold. And so I hired friends and family, and it was some of the worst mistakes I ever made. A good friend of mine to this, we're still very good friends, and she's asked to be on the team a dozen times, but I keep telling her, you can't be on my team. I got to surround myself with winners, people that want to go out and kill it, because that's the mindset I want to be in. I don't want to be on a team, and you're the one who pointed this out to me, where you could have two different teams, one with a bunch of rock stars just killing it, or a team where it's nice and easy and cakewalk. They're all selling one or two houses, and then you have 10 or 20 over here per agent. I want to be with the 10 or 20 per agent. I want to be with people that are going to lift me up and grow with me. And I don't want my other team members with people that are going to be like that, where they're going to pull them down again. So, I mean, that's, as a matter of fact, one of the things I redid this weekend was my non-negotiables, my team standards. And
nice.
we're taking it to the next level because I handed it out to everybody. I had everybody sign it like a contract. And on top of that, I'm having my assistant, we're going to blow that thing up and we're going to put it on the wall.
Nice.
So everybody on my team right now is like family. I love them. And the 4 people I kicked off last couple months, I love them like family. And they understood because I just gave them a roadmap of, hey, this is where I'll take you if you want to go. And you help me out with this. I literally said, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and make myself available from 12 to 1 for free coaching. I'll do this, I'll do that. One of which I was calling every morning at 5 a.m. to make sure everybody was up and everything else. That lasted 2 days. Within one day, 2 out of the 4 were done. Day 2, one of my people came to me and said, I don't want to let you down. I don't want to let myself down. I can't be on the team anymore. And she left. And still has not sold a house in the 2 months that we parted ways. So, just be surrounded by winners. And as far as the team goes, put your foot down, have your standards, and do not budge. Stick to your standards.
Awesome. Anything else?
Run like a business.
Run like a business.
So that was the other thing you got me going. I drew up P&Ls. It was one hell of a weekend, I'll tell you. So, but the nice thing is, at a glance now, my sales manager will bring me one sheet and I know exactly where we're at on sales. It's because let's face it, you get in that mode where, these guys all call it my driving mode, but I get in that mode where I'm just crushing it, doing my thing. I don't have time to stop. I love sales, but I got to create. And that's what I've done is I created things where, hey, listen, this is easy for you. Just fill it out so I can see what's going on behind the scenes. So I did that for my assistant. I did that for my sales manager. And now at a moment's glance, I can take a look at it and see, it is 38 listings in 90 days or whatever it may be. So
you know all your numbers. Yeah. Which is awesome. When you know all your numbers, run your business.
I didn't even know how many closings, what we were at in the volume by, and I was like plus or minus 3 million. I was like, Jesus, I ran the numbers right before I got on here. I was like, oh, wow, it's a pretty good year.
Well, Robert, you are simply awesome.
Well, you are. And I appreciate everything you've done for me and my business, and my family, and my team members, because what you've brought into my life it doesn't just stop with me. It stops with, my entire world. So I appreciate it. And I'm internally grateful for it. Thank you.
My pleasure, sir. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you much for doing this podcast.
My absolute pleasure. Thanks,
All right.
guys. Take
See
care.
ya. Bye now.